Welcome to the first installment of Max's Original Kitchen. I'm Max, this is my kitchen, this is where we cook our meals every day. I'm calling it original because I want you to be the original person in your life. I want you to have the tools you need to make the recipes that you want to make and make them your own, so that you can be original in your cooking and have confidence that any recipe that you make is going to be something you're going to enjoy making while you're making it, and then also while you're eating it. I want you to have the confidence to make a recipe and to know that it's going to come out right. Even if it's something that you modify, even if it's something that you follow by the letter. I want to take the fear out of cooking and put the heart back into it. Everyone can cook. People all over the world cook every day. Not so smart ones, poor ones, rich ones. Cooking is for everybody. So you can do it too. Some people are afraid of cooking because of failure. Well, that's like being afraid of walking because of failure or because you might trip. When you fail at cooking, all it means is what came out wasn't what you thought it was going to be, but it's still probably going to be pretty darn good. So I want you to be able to take whatever you make and make something positive out of it. So every chef should have an arsenal of recipes in their battalion that they can use and pull out to make something quick and good at every moment, but that is standard fare. So what I want everyone to do out there is I want you to get a 4x6 index card, get a pack of them. You're going to build your own library of recipes, of basic cooking techniques that you can use to build your arsenal of recipes. When you get them made, you write them down, you can put them in a box. I got this cool cigar box to put them in. I have simple little notes right here that tell me what they are. And each card is simply a recipe written on it, handwritten. I go through here when I want inspiration. If I don't feel like making something up, I come to a tried and true recipe. So get out your pens, get out your index cards, because today we're going to start with making a basic red sauce, a tomato sauce. You notice all I have is a pan to cook it in. I have an onion, a knife. I'm going to put some oregano in, a bay leaf, basil, salt and pepper, and garlic. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be real easy. So let's get started. I'm going to start by chopping the onion. I'm only going to use half of it, so I'll put the other half aside here for a later date. And we'll get this thing cooked up. I'm going to turn my stove on so my pan can start getting nice and hot. And when you chop up an onion for a sauce, you just chop it however you want to. I'm going to use the blender to make it all smooth when I'm done with it. But this basic red sauce you'll be able to use for marinara. We're going to make a meat sauce with it next. After today, I'm going to add some meat to it and just make a spaghetti sauce out of it. So I'm just going to chop it rather coarsely, actually. And that's all there is to that. Now, I'm going to get some oil. Just put a little bit of oil in my pan. I'm going to put the onions in and let them cook for about 5 minutes. So we'll take them here, put them in the pan. I just want them to cook down a little bit. If I wanted to, I could let them get caramelized or a little bit brown to give it more of a smoky flavor. But that's not what I'm going for. So we're going to let that cook for just about 5 minutes, and then we'll put that sauce together. Now that the onions have cooked a while, I'm going to add some garlic and let that get just a little bit done in there. I actually like to have maybe about 2 teaspoons of garlic. I like a lot of garlic, so I really couldn't go wrong on that one. I'm just going to let that cook for about a minute. Then I just add my tomatoes and my spices, and I'm basically done. It's really that easy. I'm going to use 2 kinds of tomato products that I had in the cupboard. Hunt's crushed tomatoes. I'm making sure they're both crushed though. And, oh, well actually they're both the same. They have different labels. Okay, I'm using crushed tomatoes. 2 of the bigger cans of them. And I just dump them in. And actually, I want a little bit more garlic than that, so there we go. Easy to do. This is how you do a red sauce. It's very simple. Now some people say you should add the spices at the end. I disagree. So I'm going to add my bay leaf in there. I have 2 very small ones. They're going to add a bottom note to my sauce. Tomatoes tend to be what I call a high note. They tend to kind of dance on your tongue. Well, the bay leaves will bring that down a little bit to give you a more balanced meal. Now I'm going to do about a teaspoon of oregano. About that much. And I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of basil. Now the key to making a good sauce or to making any kind of a good recipe is to taste it as you go. Now I like a lot of pepper, I like a lot of garlic. I'm just going to stir it up. Some people think that a tomato sauce has to cook all day to be really good. And what they're thinking of is when Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies would make her love potions and stuff, or when you see maybe on, what is that show, Moonstruck, where she's cooking that sauce all day. You can make a tomato sauce in 20 minutes and it'll taste great. The tomatoes will still be fresh. The more you cook it down, the more reduced the flavor gets. So you can get a stronger flavor that way, but I like a nice light tomato sauce actually. So mine's going to be just fine. You can see how thick it is. So I don't want to cook it down. If I wanted to make it thicker, I could add some tomato paste. But the crushed peppers, they make the paste not necessary because it's nice and thick. If I were using regular tomatoes and they had all that juice, I would definitely use some tomato paste to bring it down. So we're going to let that cook for just a little while, and in about 15 minutes we'll have the finished product. Now, if you're keeping track, this is what we're making. We're making basic tomato sauce. You'll need 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, a half an onion, 2, 3, 5 teaspoons of garlic will be fine. Then I put in 1 bay leaf, 1 teaspoon oregano, a half a teaspoon of basil, salt and pepper to taste. That's all there is to a basic tomato sauce. I'm going to let this cook for about 20 minutes and then we'll see what I want to take. It's been about 20 minutes and I think we're ready to taste it. It's bubbling away very well. I've been stirring it every now and then. Now when tomato sauce gets hot, it starts to pop at you, so you want to be careful of that. I'm going to turn it way down now and take a little taste. It's very hot, so I just get a little bit on the spoon. It's good, but I think it needs more salt. And I think it needs a little bit more oregano. But I like the strong taste of oregano, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. I'm going to turn it way down. It's on number 2 now. I'm going to let it cook for 10 more minutes, and then I'll have spaghetti sauce. It'll be done just the way I like it, maybe a little bit more pepper. It'll be done and ready to serve. Our next lesson is going to be on how to make a meat sauce out of this tomato sauce, so tune in.